Okay, so let's talk about how to load a tool and how to measure that tool. So it's very important when you load a new tool into the machine, you must immediately measure its tool offset so that someone doesn't forget to measure that and then you end up cutting in a place you didn't anticipate. So assuming we have a tool we want to load in, the first thing we would do is verify at the top of our screen that the correct tool we want to load and measure is already here. So for example, if we now want to measure T2, we should also have height offset 2. If we wanted to measure T3, we would have to change to T3. So if we wanted to do that, we would go to MDI and then we would type T3M6 to change to tool 3. But let's measure tool 2. So tool 2 is currently in the spindle, but if you can see, there's no tool there. So the spindle currently thinks tool 2 is there. So we have to take tool 2 and put it in the spindle so that the tool that is currently in the spindle matches what we see on the screen. So to do that, we're going to use the unclamp tool button here. So we're going to hold the tool in our hand, push it up into the spindle, and make sure our fingers aren't anywhere near this crimp area near the spindle where it could get crimped. So we press up, and at the same time we press and release the unclamp tool button. So now tool 2 has been physically loaded in the spindle and we need to measure it. So we go to F1 setup and we want to set up a tool and we want to set up a tool offset. So we go to offset here. So now we have all of our offset measurements here, and there's two ways to measure this tool. We can either use auto measure or batch measure. Now, auto measure will perform the tool measurement routine and it will set the length at whatever is highlighted here. So for example, right now we have tool 2 loaded in the spindle. If I press auto measure with H3 highlighted, that will incorrectly measure the tool because it will measure what's in the spindle, but it will save it in H3. We want it to go in H2 because we're trying to measure the height offset for tool 2. So we could highlight H2 and then press auto measure and then cycle start. And you can see now the machine is going to measure that tool. So it's done measuring that tool, and you can see it has shown that this measurement is updated in green here. So we can save that and it pulls us one page back. The other way to measure a tool is with the batch measurement. Now in some ways this is better because it includes a tool change before each measurement. So let's say I want to measure tool 3. I press batch and it asks me for a list of what tools I want to measure. If I press 3 and enter and then cycle start, it will go and get tool 3. So it kind of eliminates the ability for you to make that error as long as you actually have your tool 3 loaded in the right position. So we'll just watch it pick up and measure tool 3 now. Okay, and now height offset for tool 3 has been updated. We can click save or escape, and if we click escape, it'll ask us, do we want to save or not? So we'll press yes, we do want to save. And now we're done measuring that tool.